Oh yeah, there was another superhero event that happened over the weekend on a streaming service. Well, it was the Falcon and Winter Soldier debuted. I almost forgot because there's some other one that was much longer and much more exciting. It wasn't a bad episode, but it introduces them. You get some pretty good Falcon action, still doing jobs for the government and whatnot. He meets a character who I believe was the successor to Falcon when he becomes Captain America. But here, I think he was supposed to be like an illegal alien in the other one, and they did that whole... Everything was preachy and political in the comic book version. Hopefully, they'll drop that. Who am I kidding? No, there'll be some of that in there. But so far, it's sort of so good. So it opens with all that adventure. Then it kind of slows down as we're dealing with Bucky Barnes' position as he's trying to make amends for all the harm he did when he was the Winter Soldier under the command of Hydra. And there's some comical moments, but there's this kind of creepy thing where it turns out he killed this guy who was pretty much innocent at one of his assassination gigs. But whatever, the poor man that he killed turns out to be the son of this old man that he's now friends with, as if he decides he has to look out for him because, you know, he owes him, but this man has no idea that he's the murderer. Now it's like, maybe you should have kept your distance, maybe anonymously pay off some bills for the guy. I don't know. Meanwhile, he's going to therapy, so there's that. Then the other part of the story is Captain America's shield. Sam Wilson doesn't believe he deserves it, and so he feels the best thing to do with it is to hand it over to the Smithsonian to honor the memory of Captain America. And so that's what he does. By the end of the show, though, the government decides, hey, you know what? Why don't we just get a new Captain America? And so there you see the John Walker version of Captain America show up. And if you know anything about those stories, it doesn't go well. Although Walker does get some redemption later. I don't know if they'll pursue that in other Marvel stories here, where he becomes U.S. agent. They sort of, well, not sort of, is a Captain America knockoff character. But he's not above using a gun and goes on missions for the government and stuff like that later after he's recovered from a psychotic episode. And I suspect that'll be here too. But if it plays, they're merging two different stories here. The story where Sam Wilson became Captain America was a much later story than the one where John Walker was Captain America. And Steve Rogers, that story was just the government was requiring that he obey their orders and be an agent of them and all this sort of thing. And he said, no, I'm a free man, and I'll help out where I can, but I'm not going to be a soldier for the government or whatever. And they said, well, we own the Captain America name and insignia and all that. So he says, all right. So he gives up the costume. He didn't strip right in front of him, but and so they get the shield. So then he has to come up with his own shield and he becomes he just makes up a costume that's similar to the Captain America outfit, but it was like it was mostly black and stuff like that. And he became the Captain. Even that was not all that original, because in the 70s, after he found out that a mastermind behind an evil plot turned out to be Richard Nixon, they didn't actually come out and say it, but it's pretty much what the deal was. And I think he was a bit shaken in his faith in honoring the government of America and all that sort of stuff. So he quit being Captain America and became Nomad. And that was a thing he did for a while until he got over himself and went back to being Captain America. So anyway, it kept happening, and there was a cool story where Captain America was supposedly dead, but of course, you know how that goes. And Bucky took over as Captain America. Actually had a pretty cool looking suit, and I don't know. I had a similar thing. They did the same thing. Of course, DC and Marvel keep copying one another in some of these storylines where Batman supposedly died and Dick Grayson took over. I got to tell you that it was a brief run, but I think Dick Grayson worked better as Batman with Damian as Robin, and I think they should have did that as like an alternate universe series and just kept it going. Because I think they just make a better team than Damian does with Bruce Wayne. Because him and Bruce Wayne they're basically the same character. You know, it's just one's the kid version. So it worked better because Dick Grayson, in a lot of ways, was kind of like how Batman was in the Silver Age. You know, and he still suffered the same things as the Batman that Frank Miller revamped, but he was nice guy Batman. And that's what Dick Grayson is. He's not as harsh as Bruce Wayne can be. So it was an interesting run and stuff. So a similar thing happened with Bucky. His adventures were interesting, and he was an interesting character, and he was allowed to be a character in this situation and developed and whatnot, whereas Sam Wilson didn't get any of that. He was just there to preach political sermons by the all-new, all-woke Marvel, which pretty much destroyed the company. Not just that story, I mean, a bunch of it did, but he got an interesting looking outfit and stuff, but it was a combination of his Falcon stuff. But it's one of those things where the Falcon was a decades old character. This was the identity that character developed, and that was his story. It's not like it's not something he wouldn't do, because he was Captain America's best friend and all that sort of stuff. Would fill in for him because he does come back, but in this the movie version, I don't think he will, unless Chris Evans starts to starve. But other than that, that's the situation. It would have been interesting if they could have played that out, but I don't think it takes too much time to do it all to where Bucky would be Captain America. But the way they've got it set up for him and what he's dealing with his Winter Soldier stuff, it probably wouldn't make sense that he would do that, especially if Sam Wilson's thinking he's not worthy of it. Bucky never would. So, but yeah, he'll get there and he'll be the new Captain America for a while. But at the same time, it's kind of stepped down from his own character because he developed the Falcon, and they're just going to hand it off to this other character. Which hopefully they won't make it into this virtue signaling thing. I don't think they can, because he's this government agent now. But yeah, but still, there's some amount of storylines to make legacy stuff work. But characters like Captain America and Spider-Man and Superman and Batman, they're always going to be Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and Peter Parker. That's just the way it is. And when you have a character who isn't a white character, which everyone's so obsessed with race now in entertainment company stories and whatnot, you let the non-white character be their own character. And in the case of Falcon, that's decades of story of him being the Falcon. And ain't nothing wrong with that, but well, is what it is. But anyway, the episode, it's not bad, and I think it probably has more potential not to fizzle as badly as WandaVision did. WandaVision had some great stuff in it, some interesting takes that you didn't usually see in Marvel product, but there was no real payoff. I guess you gotta wait for Doctor Strange for there to be one, but what have you. But this one probably will turn out better. I don't know when I'll complete it because my subscription will run out soon. And yeah, I know. Hey, take a trip on the high seas, but yeah, I don't know about that. So, we'll see. But so far, so good for Winter Soldier. And I mean, the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Maybe there'll be a sequel series and they'll swap the name. I don't know. Anyway, I guess a solid start for that series. Thanks for watching and listening. Say, while you're still here, why not like and subscribe and share with your many friends? Yes. Also, check out my mini stores in the link description below. Yes, where you can get t-shirts, hats, mugs, all those goodies with my artwork on them. Oh, yeah. And head over to indieplanet.com and pick up a copy of my comic book, Night Night. Oh, yeah. You can also catch me at my podcast, Mr Nailsin Show, on RadioMisfits.com. And you can also watch my videos on BitChute.com and now on Rumble.com. Oh, my goodness. So many places to watch me and my stuff. Oh, yeah. And if that's not enough for you, well, you can follow me on many social media platforms and say hi to your old pal, Mr. Nailsin.